Welcome back to the Football Terrace and the Done Deal Show. Hit the like button, get sharing, and of course you can join the transfer group chat that's always active. There's links to our shows, go in there. Stories that we come across, rumours that we come across that we want your opinions on, all posted in there on a regular basis. You can scan the QR code or click on the link in our description below. Trent Alexander-Arnold, top of the bill today, plus a £77 million rated striker offered to Arsenal, according to reports, and a big exodus at Manchester United to talk about. Remember, we are live 6 p.m. UK time today for the Top 6 show, where we're previewing the weekend's games and getting the panel's opinions on some of the biggest transfer stories this January. But I want to start with Trent Alexander-Arnold and the pursuit from Real Madrid. The Times have reported that Real Madrid are considering a second January bid. Liverpool have made it clear that they do not want to let the right-back leave this month, but the Spanish giants are weighing up whether to test out Liverpool's resolve. This is coupled with a story here that sources say that Carlo Ancelotti is leading the drive to put the foot on the accelerator. Now thought it is hard to foresee Liverpool budging on their staunch position that they will not let him leave midway through the season. But Ancelotti is pushing for it, and he wants Real Madrid to do everything possible to make this deal happen now. And my thoughts are very clear on this. It's a clear sign that Trent is very close to agreeing pre-contract terms with Real Madrid. They sense that they have got the player, but they just want him that little bit sooner. Of course, they've got a right-back issue this season. We know the qualities of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He has been, especially from an attacking perspective, a playmaking point of view, he has been a world-class player at that. The majority of his playing career, even at 18 and 19, he was delivering balls and crosses and doing things that were way beyond his years and his experience. So I understand why Real Madrid want him. £20 million is supposedly the level they'll go to. But I wonder how much more they will bid. Currently sitting second in the league, struggling in the Champions League. You can imagine that the addition of a player like Trent would enhance their chances of a further Champions League title and winning La Liga. So they may look at this and go, right, we can get him for free in the summer. But he's not really free. He's probably going to sign a 10, 15, 20 million pound signing on fee when he's a free transfer. They might be able to get him slightly more expensively by paying 20 or 30 million now and a smaller transfer signing on fee. But they could, of course, bolster their team's chances of winning major trophies. I do agree with the articles. I don't necessarily think Liverpool will budge with the pursuits they're in. If Liverpool sit in third, 10 points off top, comfortably in the top four, I think this would be a different conversation. But they're currently chasing a quad. They've got a chance of winning the quad. I just don't see why. The 20 million, 30 million pound offer, I just don't think it's enough money. However, when you read the articles, when you look at the stories, it doesn't look as though this deal is going to be coming to a conclusion anytime soon. It feels like Madrid are really going to push over the course of this window. Of course, leave your comments below and let us know what you think and feel. With Man United, we're going to talk later today about some potential incoming. There's a bit of a lie that's being pushed that United have zero money to spend. I don't believe that's true. It never is. Every year we have 10 million to spend, we spend 50. Every year we only have 50 million to spend, we spend 100. So when we say we've got nothing, there's something there. However, exits are needed. Not so much to raise transfer fees, but to remove the wages. They're a much bigger concern for clubs. A number of players are linked with exits, which everybody would expect. Malacia here is one of the players leaving, according to this report. And there's a number of clubs looking at him, including Juve, looking at a loan option until the end of the season with some type of buy option. Other players that are linked with exits are the likes of Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, and Victor Lindelof, stating that Man United, is from Fabrizio Romano, that Man United are open to offers. And none of these names are going to surprise anybody. Of course, Marcus Rashford's name is on that list, with him not being in the squad very much recently and not playing. There's a lot of players. Some of them, I think all United fans will agree, have to go, like Eriksen, Lindelof, probably Casemiro. There's others a little bit more torn when it comes to players like Marcus Rashford, but We knew when Ineos, and I'm not talking about the day they became part owners, when they actually got their feet under the table and started making decisions in the summer. It's been about 6 months, that 60 to 70% of that squad in the summer was going to change. So I'm not surprised to see these names on the list. One of the big names, though, that maybe many people weren't expecting in the summer to be potentially on the chopping block is that of Alejandro Garnacho. It says here that he's valued higher than Marcus Rashford as the Man United duo enter the January transfer window with their Old Trafford careers at stake. According to the Daily Mail's Chris Wheeler, Garnacho has encountered a frustrating season with several reasons, including inconsistency and perceived problems off the pitch. Ruben Amorim dropped him, and of course Marcus Rashford for the Manchester derby. The 20-year-old Argentine winger is one of the Red Devils' best performers last season, but has struggled to progress this term. He's managed 8 goals and 4 assists in 24 games across all competitions. And according to reports, this is from the Daily Mail, Give Me Sport and others, Garnacho could also be a player if the right money is offered that leaves. And I'm not surprised. We know that Man United are literally changing everything at the club. It's why we look so poor at the moment. It's why I think a lot of players are unmotivated, because they've realised the style of football the club wants to play, that it's going to invest its money into, is not how I play football. Different profiles are needed. And I think the exodus is going to be more than the 60, 65% we predicted. It's probably going to be nearer the 80, 85% percentile. When in 3 years' time, you'll look back and I think, 10 to 15% will remain. The rest will go. I feel that's having a bit of a negative impact in the short term. Players feeling a little bit disheartened and frustrated because they maybe thought their future lied at Manchester United. We should have started this whole process in the summer. There's no doubt about that. That's a mistake. Ineos put their faith in the wrong person in Dan Ashworth. His plan of action didn't work, and we really set ourselves back a good 6 months to 12 months in terms of progression. However, what we've started now, we have to stick to it. And that means there's going to be exits. It means players that you love, some players that you rate. It also means players that you dislike and want gone. Lots are going to leave. And I don't think there's very many players in this current squad who you could hand on heart say are 100% safe. Mazza, Yoro, Mainu, Ahmad, De Ligt maybe De Ligt. Everybody else, I think, is anywhere from extreme, is leaving 100% to very vulnerable. I think that's the category everybody sits in. And of course, if United are going to add players this window, they're going to have to get rid of a number of people, not just, and you'll see reports like, Casemiro is going to leave and it's going to be a loss. Overall, they've lost out. And yes, we are going to lose money if you look at it in those terms. But United need to save on the £200,000-400,000 a week some of these players are being paid. Because yes, that player, for what he cost us, to what he's leaving for, you'll calculate it as a loss. However, in terms of moving forward, you could get better players than Casemiro in 2025 who are being paid £100,000 a week. So therefore, you could spread the cost of Casemiro's remaining time at the club amongst 3 different players, which is absolutely crucial for the football club to do. I'd love to get your thoughts on these players leaving. Who do you think needs to go and why? And we're talking now in the short term. I guess that you'll say 85% like me. But if you were the Man United owners, you were the board, if you were Ruben Amorim, who would be the top 5 or 6 players that you would allow to leave this January to raise those funds? Let us know in the comment section below. Now, Arsenal, according to a report in Give Me Sport, have been offered the chance to sign, in their words, a £77 million rated star. The news article here says that Paris Saint-Germain striker Kolo Muani has been offered to Arsenal this January, and this is according to Sammy McBell. Now, we know Arsenal have been linked to a number of players already, and as we stated yesterday, I don't think that Christopher Nkunku, I've reread the story about Christopher Nkunku, he is pushing to leave Chelsea. So it makes sense that his agent has linked him to Arsenal. Doesn't appear to be any real push from Arsenal for that deal. Some of the other stories, for instance, surrounding Mohamed Kudus, there's a massive... Arsenal like the player, they've scouted the player, they're looking at him, but no apparent bid is going to be made. That's because West Ham have set a very high price, and it doesn't look as though Arsenal are going to move for that particular player at that price this January. Then you get news stories like today, which appear to have a lot of truth to them. But it isn't the Arsenal. And so what you'll get from some people is, Terry, how can Arsenal be linked to all these players? Well, you have to look at what and why and where the stories are coming from. Christopher Nkunku, I think it's his agent trying to create noise to help get him out of Chelsea. The Kudus situation, Arsenal probably inquired, maybe spoke to an intermediary and been told via the intermediary from West Ham that if you want to come anywhere near this player, it's £100 million. The fee's set. The price is set. Make a bid and we'll see what happens. Stories like this one with Muani, as you read it, it tells you why it's different. The striker has been offered to Arsenal, according to this report. So it doesn't mean that Arsenal are negotiating, Arsenal are pushing. How can Arsenal be linked to all these players? Well, Arsenal will be linked to multiple players because that is how the transfer window works. Players they scout, players they inquire about, players they might bid for, players whose agents are pushing for them to move, and or players that clubs want to sell being offered to them. So therefore you have 5 different ways that a group of different players can be linked to your football club. It doesn't mean Arsenal have a shortlist of all of these players. Sometimes it's opportunistic. So that's why these stories, you really have to read the story, in my opinion, to understand. Also, it's different outlets, different journalists, different people. So it isn't the same journalist linking Arsenal to 8 players. That would be very strange, especially if all of them said this is Arsenal's number 1 priority. So I think you have to read a little bit into this. Personally, again, I don't think Arsenal are going to jump on this one. It's just when I read the story, when I read the article, it just feels again, well, let's see if Arsenal are interested. We know they're after. It kind of alludes to Arsenal being desperate for a goal scorer. Is he the guy at 77 million? If you're going to spend 77 million on him, just whack another £23 million on it and get Mohamed Kudus. For me, that's what I would do. But Arsenal fans, what's your thoughts, feelings and opinions on this particular story? Do you think it's just agents? Do you think it's Paris Saint-Germain trying to raise some money, use your name, etc.? Or do you feel there's some validity to it? Let us know in the comments section below. Castellet has been attracting inquiries from Torino, Lazio, Leicester City. This is another Chelsea transfer story, but all of the Chelsea transfer stories at the moment, this one here from the Daily Mail, shared by the brilliant Simon Phillips, the Christopher Nkunku deal that we've mentioned, everything appears more to be about players leaving Chelsea as opposed to Chelsea signing anyone. And there's a number of reports, Chelsea fans, that say that you're not going to look to do very much business in terms of incoming this January. And I did want to ascertain, understand, and see what your views were on that. Is that correct? I mean, of course, you've spent a colossal amount of money in recent years. There comes a point where the spending has to slow down for one reason or another. But do you think that's the right now? Do you think that you were considered in a title race until the last 3 games? That could turn around quickly. New centre-backs, new goalkeeper, a bagsman up front of what fans are asking for. But are you relaxed enough and in a comfortable enough position to just say, let's wait until the summer? Or do you expect more business this January? Are you disappointed by this news? I'd love to understand where your thoughts and feelings are. I don't really have an opinion on it as of yet, because I still think that Chelsea are in a really strong position. Maybe they're looking at it and thinking we were never going to win the title, even if we spent money this January. So actually, we're better off waiting till the summer, saving our pennies, getting our number 1 targets and becoming a better team over the course of another pre-season. Although they're not going to have much of a pre-season, but you get the drift. Or are you of the train of thought, well, actually, if we go out and get Victor Osimhen, if we go out and sign Gyökeres, if we go and get Costa, I'm using Costa, the goalkeeper, as a case in point, doesn't necessarily need to be him. Could that not bolster your chances of winning the FA Cup, getting back into the title race, being more successful this season? I'd love to know your view on this, people. Leave us your comments below, your opinions on these stories that are across multiple social media outlets today. Remember, 6 p.m. UK time, be back with us for the Top 6 show. I'm very excited about that today. I've got a big statement to make. But until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.